I'm Rob Kelso, the CEO of SA Home Loans. I'm a proud Durban boy, having spent my whole schooling and education here in KZN and much of my career. I schooled at Westfield Boys High, followed up with my tertiary education at UKZN at the Howard College campus, where I studied a BCom and became a chartered accountant. And then I did my articles at the Durban office of the Deloitte's practice, and spent another 2.5 years after articles with Deloitte in the audit and consulting practice. Currently I'm the CEO of SA Home Loans. I've been with the business for 19 years, and in that time really worked my way across the breadth of the organization. I spent 10 years in the finance side as the CFO, with a big focus on the funding, securitization platform of our business, which really is the lifeblood of what we do. Then moved into the COO role. Spent 5 years there looking after the broader operations across our home loan and insurance businesses, and then appointed the CEO back in 2021. So my role really is to execute on strategy of the business across the broader group. SA Home Loans is a non-bank. We have home loans and short-term and life insurance operations. And as Group CEO, my role is obviously to look over all those pillars and make sure we are delivering on the strategy and the direction of the business. Initially qualified as a chartered accountant. I think that was a direction I went sort of end of school. The school I went to encouraged that as a career route. The why I chose it, I think, really is it did give a broad-based start to a career. If you look at chartered accounting as a degree, it's about a lot more than accounting. So it did open up a number of avenues for me. Through my time at Deloitte, I specialized on the financial services side, quite unusual for Durban. We had a practice here in Durban which focused on the banking and financial service sector. And that's really where my career then followed. So I followed through on that specialization. I spent a lot of my articles focused on the debt side of financial services, the debt capital markets, developing securitization expertise was done in Durban. And that is then what probably brought me into my contact with SA Home Loans. SA Home Loans launched back in 1999, the only non-bank in the home loan market, competing with the big four banks at the time, and was founded on a securitization platform. So as a non-bank, not having deposits from the public, it really had to set up a platform which raised money from capital markets, from the pension funds, from the savings funds in the country, and really were the pioneers in that, and pioneered securitization to the mass market back in 2001 with the first market-facing securitization. And I think that's really what attracted me to the business back in the day. It was a rare opportunity in Durban to get into a business which was in financial services, which was in the debt capital market side, which was pioneering what really was an investment banking type of career. And that was quite unusual for Durban. So Durban doesn't have a lot of financial service businesses, especially not head offices. That's what attracted me to the business. And I think in my time at SA Home Loans, really what has appealed and what has kept me here and grown me here is the purpose of the SA Home Loans business really is by nature an impact business. So if you look at what we do as a non-bank, as a specialist home loan provider, day to day we've got clients where we can see the story, we can see the impact we've had. Our mission statement here, our purpose statement is changing lives. It's all about creating home ownership for South Africans. And that is a purpose which really resonated with me. Took me a step beyond investment banking and accounting into a business where I feel we have a daily impact on our clients and on the people around us. So I think at a professional level, probably to have been part of a team which built this business from a small non-bank trying to compete with the banks into what really is now an established player in the national housing market, recognized, I think, as the preeminent securitization issuer in the country. So if you look at the debt capital markets, we really have entrenched our position as best in class, best in breed. So that's something, having been through that portfolio, having been in charge of setting up a lot of that platform, that really is an accomplishment I look back on with some pride. Yeah, I think, as you move into different businesses, different roles, as you move into leadership positions, probably the best advice which I've adopted is be true to yourself. So be the leader that you are, the authentic leader. Don't try and mirror somebody else. So it's great to have role models and people you look up to in leadership who have done great things and been successful. But if you're going to be successful yourself through the long term, you've got to be authentic to yourself. You can't try and mirror or emulate or be something that you're not. And I think in leadership generally, I think that is a principle I hold quite close, is be myself, be the same person I am inside work, outside work. And that becomes, I think, quite evident to the people that you work with and who you look to follow and to deliver on what you're trying to do as a business. Obviously, the qualification route's a long one, becoming a chartered accountant. That's challenging in itself. But professionally, probably the biggest challenge I've faced was the global financial crisis back in 2009, 2010. As a small, at the time, non-bank, where global financial markets were in turmoil, where liquidity was really tough to come by, our business really went through a tough couple of years. As a young, newly appointed CFO at the time, that really was what I would call a career-defining moment in terms of the pressures, the stresses, the lessons learned. I think invaluable, stressful at the time, but invaluable in terms of molding and kind of forging a way forward. Crisis often does teach the best lessons in terms of long-term growth. And I'd look back at that period and say it was stressful, it was unpleasant, but both for our business and personally, I think it was a hugely valuable growth experience for me. Every business goes through ups and downs, and every business has its purple patches and its tough patches. In the market we're in, housing by nature is cyclical, so it goes through strong upturns, it goes through strong downturns. There's challenges all the time to be dealt with. And I think in terms of how we navigate that, if I look at how you motivate a team, keep people focused through the tough times, a lot of it's down to building trust with the teams you work with. I think as a team, good times are sometimes easy. The tough times are where the true metal shows. And I think if you built a team which trusts each other, who trusts the journey you're on, so trusts where you're going, and doesn't start to question as soon as things get tough, I think that's a big step in terms of managing that and getting through obstacles. I think the other side of it is, as a business, certainly we are big believers in everybody being engaged in the trenches. So it doesn't matter what your role is, everybody's in the trenches doing what they need to do, particularly when things get tough. I think that's when leaders across every portfolio and every position need to actually be present, be there, be at the coalface. We've had lots of examples. So go back, I talked to global financial crisis. We've had the likes of the COVID period with lockdowns. In KZN, we've obviously had a number of challenges in recent years where we've, as a business, had to come together. And I think those events are what builds trust. I think if you are seen as present, engaged as a management team, that really does give people the confidence to ride out those obstacles and ride out those tough periods. Who or what inspires me? I look at, it's probably a multifaceted answer. So at a personal level, and it comes back to my answer on authenticity, I think at a personal level, what inspires me, I guess, is the people closest to me, family. Faith is an important part of my life. And that's where it comes back to saying, to prove myself to them and to be a role model to people in my personal space, I need to present in my professional career as I am in my personal life. So be true to my values and my morals and my frameworks. And that's an important cornerstone for me, is to be able to say that delivers in every aspect of life. Professionally, I would say, again, I said earlier, we are by nature an impact business. And that's where I think day to day, what inspires me, and I know a number of my colleagues, is being able to see that impact on clients. We have a number of stories every week where we can see the direct positive impact we're having on our clients, on people who become homeowners, particularly first-time homeowners. It's a special thing, and that I think is inspirational to all of us, that we're able to have that impact. And then broad of that, I think as a South African corporate, and particularly for us as a KZN corporate, what also inspires us and is important to us is to be what I'd call a positive role model, a positive player in the local market. So it's about impact on not just people and community, not just people and clients, but also on communities around us. And it's quite important to us that we are seen and active and having that impact on the communities around us. That I think is important for all corporates. I mean, KZN has had its tough times over the last few years. I think more than any other province, we've had some challenges which businesses faced here. I mean, that said, we are true believers as a head office in KZN, that rare animal being a financial services head office here in KZN, the potential is enormous. The skill set in Durban, the people who live here and want to live here, what KZN offers at its best is enormous. And as corporates, I think the vision has got to be that we start to maximize that. We see other provinces ascending and rising. KZN has every potential to do that and more. If you could get corporates, if you can get the people, if you can get the politicians all pulling in the same direction, there's every reason why KZN should be the destination of choice above any other in the country. So that's got to be a focus for business. It's got to be a focus for, I think, all of people in KZN, is how do we reclaim that space as a destination of choice. Yeah, so I don't have a specific motto or saying. I mean, I think I've got principles I live by. First one is be authentic. I think I said it earlier, it's all about being the authentic you, no matter where you are, whether you're in the workplace, whether you're in a social situation, whether you're at home with your family, you should be the same person. That's important to me. And probably the other one is look for the best in the people around you. So as South Africans, we're quite accustomed to looking for negatives, looking for the bad news. I do try, and I think all of us should always try to say, what are the best things around us? What is the best in the person we work with? What is the best about the place we live? What is the best about the country we're in? I think that changes the mindset, changes the narrative somewhat. And there's a lot to be positive about. If you sift through the negativity and the bad news, there's a lot to be positive about, which I think we should all be looking to unlock.